Hello. So, this book is a total flashback to my childhood because my friends and I, like a lot of kids in the 1980s, were obsessed with ninjas. So, this 1981 paperback is something we would have drooled over. And it's surprising that we didn't come across it because it's probably the main entry point for a lot of people from that time. That being said, it's not notable as a source of actual information, but more so as part of this cottage industry, bizarrely successful within its field phenomenon. So, what did you think you were going to learn about in the 80s if you got your hands on this sacred text? Well, it lets you know right off the bat it's not about being a nice guy. But hey, there's been all kinds of people throughout history that could, sabotage, spy, assassinate. What makes the ninja different? Well, according to this author anyway, well, for one thing, they can see with the eyes of God, whatever that means. They can stop the world, as well as be a warrior, hunter, and wizard. Obviously, if you were looking for a historically grounded text, this was not going to be the book for you. Regardless, this is a history of words and pictures, so let's get to the pictures. How did the visuals work with the slick verbiage? Well, here's one way. There's a lot of anti-sentry, anti-guard stuff in this book, so our ninja has been captured, quick deft spinning around, and now he's in control. This work makes a lot of bold claims. It has an entire chapter on the nunchaku, and that's interesting since they probably weren't used by ninjas. So, nunchaku were really cool at the time, so of course it had to get worked into the book. This really takes me back, and, this is what these books were like too. So you'd read about it, take a look at the few scant, grainy black and white pictures that you had, and then you'd go out and hurt yourself trying to replicate what you saw in there. And whatever it is you're doing, you've always got to look cool, by the way, too. So there's a lot of concealment and hiding in the book. Here are ninjas peeking in a window. Well, the window is too low, so you're going to expose too much of yourself by peeking in it at your normal height. Luckily, this book is about revealing secrets, so there's a secret way to avoid that. Now, you could just bend your knees like a normal human being, and in fact, then you'd be ready to spring into action if necessary, but instead you'll go to this complicated stance where all of your weight is on just one foot, making it that much harder to get moving if you needed to. But think about the visual salesmanship here. You can't show somebody just crouching in a normal way. What's the point of that? Get a little more practical in this next section because it's about going upstairs, and it says, and any kid who tried to sneak around his house, two-story house knows this, stick to the side of the stairs, because the creaking is going to be usually in the middle, the weakest part. Then below that, though, it talks about how ninjas were known to not cast a shadow back in the old days. So back to the mystical side. Now here's a great late 70s, early 80s image. The guard are enemies dressed like almost everybody from a 70s cop show. And I've got to say, a lot of the mass media, American-targeted ninja literature back in the day did have really cool tips about hiding. I still remember some of the visuals from old ninja magazines, and I haven't seen those since I first did, which was decades ago. Now, I love this bit. Basically, it talks about if you're fleeing, which you're going to want to do, you're a ninja, right? You got your information, whatever it was, you're getting away. What if you're overrun? You can't get away. Well, then you have to turn and fight. And the advice here is being pursued by a group is to turn around and kill the foremost enemy, so the person closest to you, as savagely as possible. Not as quickly as possible, not as efficiently as possible, because, you're going to have to fight all of his friends in a second, but as savagely as possible. Because you can't sell a steak without sizzle. It was a lot of fun checking this out. It was an absolute time warp moment. My friends and I spent countless hours in our neighborhood trying to recreate some of these things. Not with a mind towards safety either. I'm pretty sure I almost died one time, and I have a few scars on my body from some of the other incidents. But this is not a storytelling video. It's a review of an artifact from the original American ninja craze. Thanks.